Hello and welcome to today's video, and as always, if you'd like to download the free music associated with today's video, please have a look down in the description. Today then, we're talking about the folk song, and I'd like to mention a particular hero of mine, Ralph Vaughan Williams, who helped save the British folk song by collecting it directly from rural singers and weaving its modal melodies into his own music. And through his compositions, writing and editorial work, he showed that folk songs were the natural voice of English musical identity and ensured they became central to 20th century British compositions. So with that in mind, I thought we would have a delve into those today and see if you recognise any of the sounds hidden amongst them. And wherever you live in the world, remember to champion your folk songs too. And let me know down in the comments if you have any particular favourites. So the folk song then, commonly in 6/8. And today we're going to explore that rhythm, 2 dotted crotchets per bar. And you can think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Counting in dotted crotchets, that gives us 1 and a 2 and gives a lovely lilty feel to the pieces. There's also then the harmony. I've slipped in the word modal when talking about Mr. Vaughan Williams. And the modal world is something that most people playing the piano won't have experienced too much of. However, it's vital that we mention it more when talking about folk songs. My piece borrows chords from both D minor and C major, and we can see that instead of following classical functional harmony, the music shifts between modes, which is typical in folk music. It creates a simple, open sound where the chords are chosen for colour rather than key rules. So let's have a listen then to my folk song and see if you can imagine what words may go with it. And if you've got any suggestions for words you'd like to write your own, again, please leave me a comment and perhaps we can put them all together and have a sing-song round a campfire. So here is folk song. I hope you enjoyed folk song. Now, I really enjoyed putting all of this together for you as it's a particular passion of mine also, and I really enjoy the folk songs from around the British Isles and other parts of the world. They have a purity to them, and they're often about things that mattered to people at the time, songs about farming, songs about the landscape surrounding the people. And if we have a look in the bass, we've got this constant drum beat. And this is one of the ways you can accompany a folk song. It doesn't need much. We don't want lots of movement and technical things going on, which makes it a very accessible piece to play. We've got parallel movements, as I mentioned, from D minor to C major at the beginning, borrowing from both of those key areas. We've got the D scale and the C scale. And this creates such a wonderful parallel movement from D to C. All the way through then we have this drum beat, but in the second half of the piece you'll notice we move to slightly more functional harmony in the bright chorus section with the F major chord here on line 3 and a B flat chord, and then at the end of the third line the C7 chord. So a mixture there of chords that help the piece to feel more rounded, giving a dull section at the beginning and a bright section in the middle. So more then to the rhythms. In the right hand we have some very complex looking rhythms, but you'll hear that they're almost absolutely logical when it comes to the folk song. We have this feeling of a lilt. and almost these decorative, ornamental notes that just pop into the middle. They're often known as Scots snaps, and they are the inverted or backwards version of a dotted rhythm. Dotted rhythms go from long to short, but Scots snaps go the other way, short to long. And as we've tied this across, it then effectively sounds, and you can hear in the first bar just how lovely that is. And then in the second bar, it just adds a very interesting folk element, and you can imagine perhaps a flute playing this, or a violin, giving those excellent folk sounds. So as we move through this piece, they're the main bulk of the rhythms to get your fingers around. There are some shifting positions, and then we also have at the end of line 2 the word fine, not fine, the Italian word fine, meaning end. So the end of my piece is in fact at the end of line 2, and we'll see just how we get to that ending in a moment. On to line 3. We've now got this to try and pop into our piece, a run-up of grace notes to decorate the bright opening to the chorus. We've mentioned a few times in the past how to accomplish this. Play all 3 notes at once, and then slightly displace the first 2 as you move forward. Don't start with them separated and speed them up. They'll always be too heavy. Focus on the A at the top and just slowly glance your hand off of them until you get more of that drum sound that we're looking for there. And you can really be quite aggressive with this as well. It wants to be bright and powerful, so it's a little easier to do. Then, towards the end of the piece, we start coming to our close. But we're not done, because the instruction DC al fine exists. In other words, da capo al fine, which means in Italian, go back to the beginning, the capo, and finish, as we mentioned, at the fine, at the end of line 2. This gives my apparently 2-part piece of music its 3rd part, making it a ternary, sandwich form ABA piece, which is typical for folk songs to use. So, I hope you've enjoyed looking through this folk song. If you have, please press the like button, and if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I will be putting more free music and tutorials on every week. Until I see you in the next video, enjoy your journey.